Not only farmers should be disgusted and absolutely embarrassed by this current fucking administration, everybody in the world should be embarrassed by what is going on right now.
If you're a farmer and still support Trump, you are a victim of gaslighting.
Y'all notice all these cattle ranchers up in arms today? They are suddenly mad because the beef market has dropped since Trump is talking about some Argentinian beef. Oh, now they're upset. Now they want to talk about save the American farmer, right?
Farmers don't vote for Trump or for conservatives in general because they're ignorant or because they don't know any better. They do it because they're rich.
There's a whole lot of white people who are now upset that they voted for Trump. So I just want to point out this lesson and thing we do in the black community where we say all skin folk and kin folk. Y'all voted for that man because he's white and you didn't want to see a black woman become the president. And now you see all skin folk ain't kin folk. I don't feel sorry for y'all at all.
Arkansas farmers are taking their own lives because of what's happening to their farms because of Trump's policies. And it's only going to get worse for farmers because this is all laid out in Project 2025.
I own a farm in North Carolina, and I can tell you for a fact that these raids will not make our state more safe, but they will make it more expensive, and it will be a stain on all of us. In May, when we start harvesting strawberries after the toll of deportation raids and the psychological trauma inflicted on the Latino communities continue to fester, farms like us aren't going to have our usual labor. We've already been told there's going to be a shortage. I spoke with one farmer who's posted locally for jobs harvesting produce for 10 years, and he's never had a local person apply. He doesn't even know what he's going to do next year. The people being rounded up are hardworking individuals, not criminals, and the blunt force tactics are only meant to make people afraid. They're not targeted. They're biased against people who don't look like me. Many of the people affected are working on our farms, building our houses, constructing our roads. They're the hardest working people I know. They're humble and kind with actual family values. I believe a day of reckoning will come, but unfortunately not just for the people perpetuating this awful tragedy, but for us as a country for letting it happen. Have the day you voted for.
So this is a message to the MAGA farmers who are losing their farms because of the current administration. This is a message for all those people who thought things were going to get better. He doesn't fucking care about you. They don't care about you. The Republican Party doesn't care about you. They needed you for your votes.
Yo, I gotta say, man, I believe, these MAGA farmers are the biggest group of disillusioned MAGA I've ever seen since the Orange Man actually became president, because these guys went ahead and voted against their biggest interest, knowing exactly what the Orange Man actually was going to do, because he had promised to carry on mass deportations of illegal immigrants from day one. He called them the biggest deportations in history. And these guys were all in support of the Orange Man. How did they actually think their businesses were going to survive? Because in the background, these guys are depending on nearly 100% immigrant labor. Now, they've been hit hard by deportations because of lack of cheap labor. I don't know where they thought their labor was going to come from. And to make it worse, they voted for the Orange Man, knowing that he was going to hit countries, especially China, with the biggest tariffs, knowing that China was actually one of the biggest customers. So I don't know what they thought, because now tariffs are actually bankrupting a lot of these farmers. And as if that wasn't enough, the Orange Man went ahead and gave $40 billion to Argentina, the biggest competitors of soybean farmers to American farmers. All that while American farmers are crying for bailouts. But let's keep watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that like button. Don't forget to leave me your opinions down below in the comment section. Really helps with the algorithm. Let's keep watching.
Well, like we talked earlier, we went from 12 billion to zero. And then, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition.
I wonder how it fucking feels to scream all election cycle, America first, America first, America first, just for the man that you elected simply because he wasn't going to give any money to foreign nations, looks at you and says, you're a farmer, that's okay, I'm going to bankrupt the fuck out of you, by tariffing the shit out of China, causing them to buy soybeans from your biggest competitor, Argentina. And then while you guys are filing active bankruptcy because China is not buying your soybeans, I am going to turn around and instead of bailing you guys out, I am going to send a $20 billion check to your competitor, Argentina. What was that again about not wanting money to go to foreign nations? And then Donald Trump looks you in your bankrupting eyeballs and says, anyways, no bailout for you. We're going to give money to a foreign nation. And that foreign nation happens to be your competitor. I don't even understand how angry you must be to sit there and be that lied to. And then just like, there's nothing you could do about it, which is kind of diabolical to me because you guys did go through this the first term of like his first term. And you said, let's do it again. America first, baby.
Y'all notice all these cattle ranchers up in arms today? They are suddenly mad because the beef market has dropped since Trump is talking about some Argentinian beef. Oh, now they're upset. Now they want to talk about save the American farmer, right? See, this is what happens when racism runs the economy instead of logic. They voted for a man who sold them a fantasy that their white skin was going to be economic policy, and that somehow legislating harm and voting for harm towards black, brown, and immigrant communities was going to bring back the good old days, right? When America was great. But here's the gag. Capitalism don't love y'all either, boo-boo. See, Trump is not loyal to the American farmers like y'all thought he was. He is loyal to profit margins. What happened to all that? Oh, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. Y'all were excited about that. And if it's cheaper to import beef from Argentina than to pay y'all's fair rate in Texas, Kansas, Ohio, wherever, then baby, he's gonna sign and seal that deal and watch y'all's family farm fold like a cheap lawn chair at the county fair. See, they thought voting for Trump meant putting others back in their place. All they did was put themselves in a chokehold of their own making. Because hey, when you vote for oppression, baby, you don't get to choose who gets crushed first. That ain't how that works. See, that's what I mean when I say racism is expensive. It costs the worker, it costs the farmer, it costs the nation. See, they didn't realize they were sacrificing their own economy to feed their hatred. And now they're on here crying about losing markets, losing subsidies, losing land. And I can't even muster up a tear. Where was all this worry when it was our communities losing everything? So to all the Make America Great Again farmers, baby, welcome to the America you built. The America you voted for. America where greed don't know color and baby loyalty don't pay. Cause Trump ain't y'all savior, baby. He's your landlord. Ooh.
Farmers don't vote for Trump or for conservatives in general because they're ignorant or because they don't know any better. They do it because they're rich. The GOP and Trump have always promised to cut taxes for the wealthy, to lower or loosen regulations, and to make up any shortfalls by cutting services for other people, for working class people, for lower class people. The median farmer net worth in the United States is over $1 million. That's the median. It's not the average that's jacked up by a few outliers. Like, that is the median. Their incomes are far higher, like the household incomes, far higher than the median household income for people in the United States. Farmers are sophisticated, well-moneyed people who know exactly what they're doing. They vote Republican because they want to keep their tax breaks. They want lower taxes on their income. They want to lower or get rid of the estate tax, like all the taxes that apply to rich people. They did this for purely selfish reasons and knew exactly what they were getting into. And they assumed that those benefits would outweigh whatever chaos Trump created in the markets, with the export markets, tariffs, whatever, and assumed that they would probably get some kind of bailout from that too, which they very likely will. So no, this is not something that can be attributed to ignorance or stupidity. This is malice.
All right, y'all. These farmers are actually now crying for America First policies because apparently they voted for America First, America to be put first. Now all the funds are going abroad, especially with what the Orange Man just did by sending $40 billion to Argentina, while American farmers have been crying for bailouts, getting none. Yeah, all of a sudden you all like welfare now. I thought you wanted to cut the waste. I thought you wanted to cut that money that was funding. I thought you wanted to cut all that money that was going to welfare. Now you are becoming welfare queens. Yeah, it is what it is. Now, the thing is that, these guys actually voted for the orange man because they were rich. They wanted them tax cuts, for the rich. They thought that that would actually outweigh all these tariff policies and, immigrant deportation. I don't know how they thought they were going to actually survive, but they thought they were untouchable. You know nothing about America first. They only know rich first. And apparently making America great again was actually, making the rich great again in the United States. But let's keep watching.
So I want to talk about this article really quick because it's all starting to make so much sense right now. This author and journalist was having lunch with friends. There was a white guy and he's married to a black lady, and they were talking politics. And he says that farmers weren't worried about Trump deporting migrants because, wait for it, they thought because unemployment was so high for black people that these black people would run back to the fields and do the jobs that the migrants were doing when they got deported. So she asked, where'd you get that information from? White farmer TikTok or MAGA Facebook memes? Where'd you get this information from? And her and the wife basically started giving him information, letting him know unemployment is only 6.8% for African Americans, and 93% of black people are currently working. Got so caught up in what they were hearing at Fox News and other places, thinking black jobs, immigrants are taking black jobs, that they just assumed they'd get rid of the immigrants and black people would take the immigrants' jobs. Sir, our ancestors did not march, die, and fight for civil rights so we could go back to the fields? What? But shout out to the Latino immigrant population that have mastered that labor with skill and stamina. This country doesn't even appreciate it enough. Oh, and by the way, when they do try to hire Americans, black or white, to do those jobs, most of them don't even last half a day. They just ghost them without even picking up their paychecks. True story. So y'all, tell me, do you really believe that they thought black people were planning to replace immigrants in that labor force if they got deported? Because I need to know who was smoking that logic. What do you think?
Arkansas farmers are taking their own lives because of what's happening to their farms because of Trump's policies. And it's only going to get worse for farmers because this is all laid out in Project 2025. So in Project 2025, the plan is to roll back all of the protections that farmers currently have access to. Basically, there's different programs. There's crop insurance. There's these commodities programs. And most of these are either subsidized or paid for by the government. So farmers, if a small farm gets hit with, a weather disaster or something else happens where they can't profit off their crop like they usually do, they're backed up. They're safe. They can, float for another year because of these programs. They want to get rid of these programs. They want to take the burden of these programs off the government and put it back onto the farmers, meaning these small farms get hit with one disaster and they're fucked. They're done. Guess who won't be done, though, if they get hit with one disaster? Giant mega corporations, these huge corporate farms that have all the capital they need to float if they get hit with a disaster. They're not going to go under. What they're going to do is buy up all these little farms and consolidate them into these giant mega farms.
So this is a message to the MAGA farmers who are losing their farms because of the current administration. This is a message to the MAGA veterans and military who are watching their health care be destroyed and workers be fired and billions of dollars going from quality of life measures for troops to the border. This is a message for the MAGA poor who are watching their Medicare and their Medicaid and Social Security getting ready to get chopped. This is a message for all those people who thought things were going to get better. He doesn't fucking care about you. They don't care about you. The Republican Party doesn't care about you. They needed you for your votes. Some still do. The guy at the top, he doesn't need you anymore. He only needed you to stay out of jail and make billions of dollars from becoming president again. And all the Republican representatives and senators, they just needed you to vote for him so that they could help get that giant tax cut for the oligarchs who fund them. They have never, ever cared about you. There's a part of you deep down that may be starting to realize this, and I hope you do, because your life will get better. So all of these people, if you're living in red states and all of the indicators of quality of life continue to fall, wages don't rise, education continues to fail, and you're led by Republican leadership, the GOP, and it has never gotten better, only worse, while the rich inside your state get more and more corrupt and wealthy, this might be your time to do something about it. I'm just saying, maybe it was all a lie. Maybe they never cared about you and they never will. Just think about that.
I'm starting to believe that it's not that people are suffering now. It's certain groups of people that's starting to suffer. And now they're having to rob Peter to pay Paul. And they want the whole world to know about it because they ain't never been in this situation. I just watched all of 2 seconds of the 60-minute interview with Jeffrey Daniel. In the interview, they titled him a 5th-generation farmer. And the human in me want to feel bad. The human in me want to say, that's fucked up. You can tell that Jeffrey was busting at the seams. I suggest y'all go watch this video. But what I'm starting to notice, even though these people ain't saying, I voted for this, they give off that aura, so you don't even have to have their confirmation. Now I'm questioning, am I wicked? I almost feel bad for not feeling bad for these people. Almost. Because I'm human. But these people wasn't even human enough to think about other folks above their own needs. Hell, their damn selves. So why are y'all shoving these people in our faces? Number two, the other thing that I'm analyzing, and y'all tell me if y'all are seeing the same thing. The only videos that I am seeing of people that's suffering right now, that's having to work a part-time Uber job from their primary real estate job that they've been doing over 20 years. Pattern is y'all have never had to truly suffer, and now y'all know what it feels like when you have to rely on the government for SNAP benefits, or you need a handout, you need an extension on your bill. You're literally having to figure shit out. There wasn't a really big uproar from people who had their SNAP benefits cut. They have been down the road of waiting for their benefits to hit on the 5th of November, and it never shows up just to find out they were denied, or they missed recertification, or flat out just don't qualify anymore. There was more people talking shit about the fact that they wasn't receiving the benefits than the people that wasn't receiving the benefits. That's some crazy shit.
All right, y'all. Actually, I just thought of something. On second thought, we need to reclarify this. We keep on saying that these farmers actually voted against their best interest. I think that we're actually getting this wrong, because these guys actually voted for their best interest. It's just that their best interest was greed. Yeah, that's exactly what they voted into. They voted for the tax cuts for the rich. They expected these tax cuts to actually benefit them. They voted for mass deportations of illegal immigrants and marginalized communities, people of color. That was actually their interest. They voted for all these tariffs. They voted for the orange man to actually make America great again. They voted for America First policies only because they thought that it was only going to benefit them, that it was going to make them and their group greater. That was actually their thinking of a greater America, America becoming great again, like in the 50s. On second thought, I think that they did actually vote for their best interest. It's just that their best interest did not align with what we've been thinking. You know, it did not align with moral values. It did not align with humanity. It did not align with actually feeling empathy or sympathy for other people. They only cared about themselves. They were too greedy. And now it's coming back to bite them. That's exactly what's happening, especially to these old group of farmers who have been crying for bailout, bankruptcy, and all that stuff. Yeah, you voted exactly for what you wanted, and you're getting exactly what you voted for. So when you see people actually not showing any kind of sympathy or remorse, it's exactly what you get for thinking that the orange man's policies were only going to affect other groups of people except y'all. So subscribe to the channel, guys. Let me know in the comment section your opinion about today's episode. Don't forget to hit that like button. Really helps with the algorithm and pushing this video when you hit like and leave a comment. And again, see you in the next episode.